Good morning all of you. Today we will discuss about how to design a flanged beam. After this session you will be able to define a flanged beam, differentiate a flanged beam and rectangular beam, calculate the effective flange width and moment of resistance of a flanged beam. So first let us discuss about what is a flanged beam. So generally what happen in practice, when the construction material of beam and slab are same, then they will cast simultaneously or monolithically. So in that case the concrete in the slab portion is on the compression side of the beam and can be made to resist the compression force, and the tension can be carried by the steel in the tension side of the beam. So these combined effect of slab and beam units are called flanged beams, and these may be of two types. One is T beam and second one is L beam, depending upon whether the slab portion is available on both sides or on one side of the beam. So let us see the diagram of a continuous cross section of a continuous slab carrying with three beams. So the intermediate, just mark the intermediate beam. This intermediate beam is having the slab portion on both sides of this, forming the shape of a T. So this is known as T beam, and mark the end beam which is having the slab portion only on one side, forming the shape of a L, and this is known as your L beam. Then next we will discuss for a T beam. Let us discuss here this is the flange and this part is known as web. This depth of the flange is denoted as df. So df is the depth of the flange, which is also equal to depth of the slab. And in this is the web part, so we can write it as BW, which is the width of the wave, or we can say it as width of the beam also. Clear? And this is the small d, which is your effective depth, that is from the top of the compression fiber to the centroid of the tensile reinforcement. Next parameter is width of the flange, and this is denoted as BF. So before we have discussed in rectangular section, so this BW we can determine, this D we can determine, but what about this BF? That means which up to what portion we will consider, up to which portion of the slab, or we up to what portion of the slab is considered with the beam. So this BF will be calculated as per our IS 456 recommendation. So as per IS 456 clause number 23.1.2, for T beam the BF will be equal to L0 by 6 plus BW plus 6 df, and for L beam this is equal to L0 by 2L plus BW plus 3 df, where your L0 is the distance between points of zero moments in the beam, BW is the breadth of the wave, df is the thickness of the flange. So this is the condition for where there is more than one beam is present. But if there is a single beam, that means isolated beam, the T beam will be calculated as L0 divided by L0 by B plus 4 plus BW, and for L beam 0.5 L0 divided by L0 by B plus 4 plus BW. So this is about how we will calculate the effective flange width of a T beam and L beam as per our IS 456 recommendation. Then next part is to determine the moment carrying capacity or moment of resistance of the T beam. So before going to calculate the moment of resistance of the section, the first step is to find out the depth of neutral axis. So this, in case of a flanged beam, the neutral axis can be present in the flange or in the wave. So there may be two cases. Either the neutral axis will lie in the flange or the neutral axis lies in the wave. So first case is neutral axis lies in the flange, or second case is neutral axis lies in the wave part. So let us discuss about the first case when neutral axis lies in the flange. So this is the BF, this one is DF, this is the BW, that is nothing but our width of the beam, this is the thickness of the slab, this is the effective width of the flange, and neutral axis is here inside the flange. So this is the position of XU, and your effective depth will be this one up to the centroid of tensile reinforcement. This is the AST. So this is the section of T beam, and this is the stress diagram of T beam. So see what happens when the neutral axis lies in the flange. The whole stress block will lie inside the flange. If the whole cross section will lie inside the flange, then above the portion which are above the neutral axis will in compression, okay, and the portion below the neutral axis will in tension. That we have already discussed before. The portion above the neutral axis will in compression and the portion below the neutral axis will in tension. So here in this case, the portion below the above the neutral axis is nothing but your BF into XU. This is the portion above the neutral axis. So here we can consider it as equivalent to a rectangular beam with cross section BF into D. This is the overall depth of the section. So when the neutral axis lies inside the flange, the top portion is in compression and the bottom portion is in tension. So the portion of the T-beam which is available, that is, see here, the portion below the neutral axis which is available has no role to play, as our concrete is not carry, the concrete will not carry the tension. For that we have to provide the reinforcement. So the below the neutral axis, whatever portion of the flanged beam is available, that has no role to play in tension. So this beam can be considered as a rectangular beam or equivalent to a rectangular beam of cross section. This can be considered as a rectangular beam of cross section BF into D. So this will design, or the moment of resistance will be calculated in this case same as for a rectangular beam. So in order to be in equilibrium condition, the total compression must be equal to total tension. So the total compression, that is denoted as C, must be equal to 0.36 FCK BF XU. In case of a rectangular beam, it was 0.36 FCK B into XU. But in case of a flanged beam, when neutral axis lies in the flange, so the portion available for carrying the concrete is BF into XU. So in place of B, we can write it as BF into XU. And the total tension will be equal to 0.87 Fy AST. Similar in the case, similar to the case of rectangular beam. So this can be written as 0.36 FCK BF XU will be equals to 0.87 Fy AST. So XU can be calculated as 0.87 Fy AST by 0.36 FCK BF. This is considered as equation 1. So XU, after calculation of XU, we can now find out the moment of resistance of the section. So moment of resistance of the section will be equal to compressive force into lever arm. So 0.36 FCK BF XU multiplied by the corresponding lever arm of D minus 0.42 XU, or 0.87 Fy AST whole into D minus 0.42 XU. So in this way, when the neutral axis will lie in the flange, we can calculate the moment of resistance of the section. Thank you.